hold on, and share my screen. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so there are 2 students send me emails, ask me some questions. So that's what I'm going to go through. Okay. Okay, so the first question is related to quiz 16. Sorry, question 16 from quiz 3. Okay, so this is one of the quiz 3 questions. So there are 1 student have specific questions about this. So I just want to go through this. Okay. So in this question, you have this company has a 12% required rate of return. It does not expect to pay dividends for 7 years. At the beginning of year 8, it will pay $2 per share dividend. At that time, Sage expects its dividend to grow at 7% forever. Okay, and then calculate the stock price now. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I would do it, right? If I'm you in the exam. So first, I want to build a timeline. Okay, so that always the first thing I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to build a timeline. So just give me a second. Okay, so let's see. So I'm gonna build all this timeline. So this would really help me, right, to understand the the cash flows, right? So 8, right? There's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, oops. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then they will keep going forever, right? They will keep going forever. So just give me a second. I'm going to make them pretty. Okay, so align. I'm gonna align top, align distributed horizontally. Okay, so now here, this is my year 0, right? This is now. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is the 7th year. Okay, so I'm gonna do this 7th year. Is that 7th? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. So this is the 7th year. Okay, and then this one is this is the year 8. Okay, so I learned that for the first 7 years, it does not expect to pay dividend. Okay, there's no dividend, no cash flow. Or you can think of the situation as a cash flow to be 0. Okay, but at the year of 8, they pay $2 dividend per year, and this is going to continue. And we also learned that the growth rate G is 8%, right? What's the percentage? Yeah, 7%. Okay, so like here, this G is the 7%. Okay, so basically, I have a sequence of perpetuity. I'm gonna use this red color. Okay, so I didn't draw everything, right? But I'm gonna use this red color to represent this perpetuity, starting from year 8, right? Continuous, lasting forever, right? So we know in this case, for the perpetuity and with the dividend rate to be 7%, we know that formula. So the price, okay, T0, okay, equals D1, okay, the dividend a year after the price, the year of the price, divided by rate, required return minus growth rate, dividend growth rate, right? So here, this is P0 D1. In this question, we know that it's gonna be, because the first dividend is $2 at year 8. So if I use D8, okay, So here is going to be P7. Okay. So basically, in this formula, what I'm saying is, so I starting from year 8, I have a perpetuity lasting forever with a dividend growth rate to be 7%. So that those cash flows can have a present value at the year 7, right? At the year 7, I'm gonna use the red color here. Okay. Okay, so I can translate all these perpetuity cash flows starting from year 8, okay, into a present value at year 7. Okay, so I'm going to use this formula. I know the price at year 7 is that year 8 dividend $2 divided by R is 12% minus G is 7%. Okay, so this tells me that the present value at year 7 would be 2 divided by that will be 5%. This is $40. Okay, $40. So the price at the year 7, I know year 7 is $40, but the question is about what about at the year 0, right? So we want to know the year 0. Okay, so I want to know the year 0, the current price, right? What's the price? The question is calculate the price now, right? The price now. Oops, sorry. So they are calculating the price now, right? So if it's asked the price at the end of year 7, we know the answer. That's $40, right? But they are calculating now, okay? So now you have to use another formula, right? Because this is the future value. So now I need to figure out what's the present value of the future value at the end of the year 7. So this one is relatively easier. So you know P0 actually equals P7 divided by 1 plus R to the power how many years? There are, if you count it, there are 7 years, right, between. So that's discounted by 7 years. So then when you do this calculation, so 40 divided by 1.12 to the power of 7. Okay, so this gives me what? What is this number? So let's quickly calculate this number, 0.12 to the power of 7 inverse times 40. So I got 18.09. Okay, so that is my result. Okay, so that's kind of the process that how I do a question like this. You know, when I'm approaching to a question. Okay, so do you have any questions for this one? Does anyone have any question with regard to this question I'm talking about? If you understand all this, please give me a thumb up. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Odyssey, and Godfrey, do you guys understand this? Okay, awesome. So it's important you draw a picture like what I do, right? So you can learn how to do this. Okay, so then we are done with this. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. So in this question, this is the, if you go to our week 8, there is a midterm practice and solution, right? There is this sample, like copy of the questions. So this question is from question 33. Again, so that student has reviewed that document, and he or she probably struggled with this question. So this is the question number 33, okay? Question number 33. So the old country stores has not kept pace with the times, and is slowly seeing their sales and market shares decline. Based on this trend, the firm recently announced that their next annual dividend will be $0.8 a share, and that all future dividends will be decreased by 2% annually. You require a 16% rate of return on this stock. What is one share of this stock worth to you today? So again, it's calculate the present value, right? The present value today. So you know that, tell me, okay, in this question, the firm recently announced their next annual dividend will be here. This is a very important information, okay? So their next dividend will be $0.8, okay? So we are trying to figure it out. What we are trying to figure out is P0, right? The price now, that's P0. So we want to figure out this. So can anyone tell me this 0.8, is this D0 or D1? Is this D0 or D1? The $0.8. This is really important, right? Because it's going to affect the formulas, your calculations. Oh, Godfrey said it's D1. You guys agree? Is this 0.8 is D0 and D1? So you have to read this question carefully. The firm recently announced, right? Recently announced. So that time is very close to time 0, right? Now, very close to now. Their next annual dividend will be $0.8. So is this D0 or D1? Anybody else?
D1.
Very good. What if I say the firm just announced a dividend of $0.8. So here, if I say, so in some question you're gonna see a different narratives, right? So they may say that they may say, sorry, they may say the firm just announced a dividend of 0.8. So now you tell me this point, let's say 0.7. So now the firm just announced a dividend of 0.7. Is this D0 or D1?
D0.
D0. Okay, awesome. That's great. Okay, so with that information, then this question is pretty straightforward, right? So basically, you are using a formula, right, for this model. So the model would be P0 equals D1 divided by R minus G, right? So what's your D1? We just said it's 0.8. And what's your R, required rate of return? 0.16, right? Minus, what's your growth rate? Well, in this question, it's interesting because there's no growth, right? All future dividends will decrease. So no growth is the opposite direction. So the dividend will decrease by 2% annually, right? So decrease means a negative 0.02%. Sorry, negative 0.02. Okay, so that equals 0.8 divided by 0.18. Okay, so that will give me 0.8 divided by 0.18. $4.44. Okay. So does this make sense? 1, 2, 3. Give me a sum up. Does this make sense? Okay, what about the other two students? Do you understand this? Thank you. Okay, so if the growth rate is a positive number, but the decrease would be a negative number. Okay, so the same formula applies. Okay. Think of this way, right? If the growth rate is positive, that means that the amount of dividend is increasing year over year. So then your present value should be higher, right? So if the growth rate is decreasing, so your future cash flow is decreasing year by year, right? So your present value should be lower, right? So that's why 0.8 divided by 0.18, right? So this denominator is quite big, right? If it's a positive growth rate, so this denominator will be 0.14, right? 0.16 minus 0.02. So if it's positive, then you should have a higher present value. So 0.8 divided by 0.14, right? In this case, it's decreasing. So 0.8 divided by 0.18, so $4.44. Okay, do we have any questions on this? Do we have any question on this? Okay, good. No question. Let's move on. This is also from the same like a practice and review solution that document. This is posted under week 8. Okay. So Charlie's Music just announced that they will commence paying annual dividends next year. They plan to pay $1 a year for 3 years and $1.2 a year for the following 2 years. Then cease paying dividends. How much is one share of this stock worth to you today if you require a 10% rate of return? Okay. So if I draw a picture, so I just want to use the shortcut. I'm just going to copy this one. Okay. So if I draw a picture, so my understanding is year, okay, so let me see. So year 0, and this is the year 1, and 2, 3, year 3, year 2. Then I have year 4, year 5, right? Year 4, year 5. And now let's just forget about this. Yeah, we can just forget about this. Okay. 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 So we learned that now this is year 0. So this is now, right? This is now. You can say 0, right? This one here. So then year 1, year 2, year 3, they tell me that, so they just announced, right? So that's now, they just announced they will commence paying annual dividend next year. So starting from which year? Year 1 or year 2? So starting from year 1, right? They just announced. Thank you, Godfrey. Okay, here. So year 1 for how many years? 3 years. And then after that, they are going to do 2 years. But this time, the dividend is a little bit higher, right? It's 1.2. Okay. And after that is 0, right? It's 0 forever. After this, so this is going to be 0. Okay. It's just 0, 0 forever, right? So it's like this. Okay, so we only have 5 cash flows, right? So the question is, what is this this cash flows, what is the value of these cash flows, right? So we have basically two annuities, right? So I have this red annuity. So that's 3 years. Each year it's $1 because it's the equal amount, right? So that's why this is annuity, right? And it happened at the end of the period. So this is the ordinary annuity. And then after that, I have another annuity. I'm going to use green color. This red green, you see how much I miss Christmas, right? I use red and green. I really miss Christmas. So this is, so I'm just using two different colors just to give you a good visual differentiation between the two annuities, right? Because we're gonna calculate the present value on this separately, okay? Does anyone still remember what's the formula for ordinary annuity? So you think about ordinary annuity. What is that formula? Does anyone still remember? D over 1 plus R. So this one is not annuity. This one is not annuity formula. 1 plus R. Yeah, it's way more complicated than that. Okay. Ordinary annuity. Who remember that formula? Let's see who remember that formula. No? Okay. I don't blame you on that. If you are not math major, if you you know, it's hard to remember. Okay, so let me write this down for you. So present value that equals it has something to do with this constant payment, right? Because the definition of the annuity is that it's like equal payment over a well-defined time structures, right? So in this case, it's equal payment of $1 over 3 years, right? So it has to have something to do with the $1. Yes, Dante, that's correct. So the $1 that is the C, right? This is your payment, and then you have a bracket, okay? Within the bracket, you have two. It's a division, okay? In the division, in the denominator, it's the required rate R. In the numerator is the subtraction, 1 minus, and here another. Just give me 1 second. So I should go with, which one I should go with first? I should go this first. I need this. Okay, and then here will be division. Okay, so I'm gonna have this to be 1 plus R. Okay, and then this is in the bracket. And to the power of n or t, right? So that is the period of the number of the kind of the cash flow in that annuity, right? Does this is this coming back? Is this formula coming back to you? You have used this before. So in this case, when I do the calculation, okay. So I want to calculate red first. So for the red, for this red ordinary annuity, okay, and so basically, I'm having here would be a red one, okay, because it's representing the red streams of the cash flows. In this case, C is 1, and R is, what is R? 10%. So R is 0.1. And what is N? Can anyone tell me what is N? 3, thank you. So N is 3, okay? N is 3. So if anyone can quickly calculate this for me, I would really appreciate it. If anybody can quickly calculate this to me, for me. So I'm gonna show you this approach using the formula, and then I can also show the approach to use the calculator, okay? So first, let's see using the formula. So if anyone can do a calculation for me, I would really appreciate it. So what I got here is 1.4868. So that's kind of what I got. Yeah, that's correct. Dante, you are correct. Okay. Okay, so now, okay, we are done with the red one, right? We are done with the red one. For your benefit, you just remember that, you know, this one's gives me a value of that. So for your benefit, if it's easier, I'm gonna just remove it. Okay. How should I do this? I'm gonna use a lighter color, so that, okay, I'm going to use a lighter one, so that you know. Okay, so these things are not our focus anymore. So just want to make this less prominent, okay? Maybe this one. Okay. Oh boy, do this one by one. Do that. Okay. So now try not to think of the red color. Okay. Now let's focus on the green. Okay. So I'm gonna use this same formula. Okay. Now I'm calculating the green. Can anyone tell me what's my C now? In this calculation, what is my C for this one? What is my C? Ah, good, 1.2, right? 1.2. Good. The R would be the same, right? Because the required return is always 10%. And what is my N? What is my N this time? 2, yes. It's 2, right? So can anyone tell me what is this result? Okay, so let's see what I have here is, yes, that's correct, 2.0826, okay? So this is red, present value of the red, and this is the green, okay? As you know, right, my practice, every time I do a present value in my approach, I always use this dot, right? So just place it somewhere, right? So now you tell me, what is this P? P0, P1, P2, P3. So what is this P now? Where should I place this green dot? So this annuity calculate at what time point? So I put here P4. If I put P4, the payment, the cash flow payment, it is at the beginning of the period. So this is not an ordinary annuity anymore. So you can't use this formula. If you put it over P4, if you put it here, you disqualify this ordinary annuity, right? Because the ordinary annuity representing that the cash flow, it is at the end of each time period, right? That's the ordinary cash flow, ordinary annuity. If the cash flow happened at the beginning of each time period, that would be called annuity due, right? So here, can anyone tell me what is P, right? What is this present value I'm calculating actually? P3, yeah, that's correct, right? That's a P3. Because this is my beginning and this is my ending, right? So I have these two, and with reference to this time point, this structure is a ordinary annuity, and that's why when I use this formula of the ordinary annuity, I'm calculating the present value to be the starting of the very beginning of the time frame, right? Okay, so this is actually a P3 here. And of course, you're gonna do you're gonna change, right? You're gonna calculate P0, right? So you're gonna calculate your P0 in green, right? P0 in green. So I guess this is the easy part, right? So P0 equals P3. So I'm going to use this one. P3 divided by 1 plus R. Okay. 1 plus R, and to the power of, there's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, right? It's 3 years. Yeah. So in this case, again, this is a green color, right? That's a green color. So that equals P3, we calculate 2.082826 divided by 1.1 to the power 3. Tell me what's your answer? What I got here is 1.5647. So that's why it's P0. Okay, so now I know the two streams present value. To calculate the total present value, P equals P0 red plus P0 green. So this has to be red, and this one equals green. Okay. So when I add them up, 2.4868 plus 1.5647, that equals 4.05. So the answer is D. The answer we choose is D, 4.05. Okay. Does this make sense? If this does make sense, please give me a sum up. 1, 2, 3. Good job. Does anyone have any question? Okay, so this is the a formula approach. Okay, you could also do a financial calculator approach, right? For those of you who know how to do this, would you mind start doing it? See if you get the same result. Financial calculator approach. So if you know how to do this, can you please start working on it? See if you get the same result. Did you get the result? Okay, yeah. Monica got 4.05. So that's great. So that's awesome. Okay, so basically what you do is you use the net present value, right? You enter the cash flows. So you have CF0, right? You know, those ones. I've been going through that in the lecture, in the previous exercise questions. Okay. Yes, compute NPV exactly. Right. So you go with CF, right? CF0 equals 1 equals 0. C01 that's $1. F01 that's 3, and the C02 is 1.2. F02 is 2, and so let's see, and then you go with NPV, right? The I, which is the discount rate, 10%, you enter 10, right? And then you compute NPV, right? Okay. Does anyone have any questions on this? Okay, good. So if you understand all this, oh yeah, you can do that. If you use that formula, if you discount each of the 5 cash flows, so they may take a little bit of time to do the calculation. Why do we identify P0 for both dividends? We are calculating the stock's value today, right? So that has to include all the future cash flows. So all the future cash flows, and if you take a look at the future cash flows, there are 2 annuities, right? There's one red and one green. Both will contribute to the stock's value today. I do the calculation separately, and then I add them up together. Does that make sense, Monica? You know, if let's say if this is 1.0, right? If they have just 1.0, and then you know there's no reason why I should separate this into 2 streams, right? Because it's all $1. It's just one annuity, so I can just do it one time, right? I just calculate the present value. I would have n equals 5, right? And then it's done, right? So if like this, then it's done, right? But the tricky part for this question is that, you know, they are not the same, right? This is not the same, there are two annuities instead of one. And yeah, Godfrey, you can use that to discount each of them one by one. That was good, but the question is, what if I tell you that, let's say, $1 for 20 years, and on the 21st years, $1.2, and for 10 years, right? So you see what I'm saying? In that case, knowing the formula would be beneficial, but with like 5 cash flows, it's manageable. You can using the most basic formulas, right? Just to discount each cash flow, not using the annuity, right? But when the number of the cash flows is large, you using the formula will be really beneficial, right? Even using calculator, right? You know, you want to enter like 12 or 20, you know, cash flows. That's gonna be taking some time, right? So there is the benefit of using the formula, right? Does that make sense, everyone? 1, 2, 3. Okay, awesome. If I'm doing this 1, 2, 3 for too long, if I feel it's too boring, I want to be more creative. I would say do re mi, right? In the music tones. But too bad, I'm not good at music. Anyways, so this is this question. Next one. This is the question 11 in that review exercise practice question document. If I take a look at this question, I'm thinking about, okay, so this is the bond, right? So if I still remember the formula for the bond, I know the price should equal to like the coupon payment, right? The coupon payment, because basically it's a new one annuity and one lump sum payment. Hello? Can you hear me? Okay, good. I'm back. Okay. So basically, we are saying that, you know, the first one is the interest payment, right? The annuity. And you just have done this R1 minus 1 plus R to the power of N, right? And so this is basically the annuity. And then at the maturity date, there is a sum up payment, right? You have a face value divided by 1 plus R divided by N, right? Okay. So that's actually kind of the pricing model for bond, right? So we know the face value. This is 1,000. What we know is if R equals 12%, my price is actually 1150. Okay. So now the question is, just give me a second. What if my R equals 15%? What would my price be, right? So in this case, we don't have enough information because we have two equations, right? Yes, Monica, you are absolutely right. The price should be lower. Yeah, the price should be lower because your interest rate is higher. So your price is lower. So this for sure is less than 1150. Yeah. And so then you just guess, right? Maybe it has to be this question, right? Because this is the only possible one, right? it cannot be the same. It cannot be higher than it, right? So because this one, okay, R is 15%. 15% is higher than 12%. Right away, you know the price is less than this. So just by exclusion, you should get rid of this. This one is all higher than 1158, and this one is equal. And then this is the only possible one, right? And the E, not enough information. In this case, we have two equations, but we have three unknowns, right? So we have the C, which is unknown. We have the N is unknown. And we have the R is unknown, right? So this is the challenge, right? So technically, E is the correct answer, okay? There's no enough information. We know it's less than 1150, but we don't know what is the actual number, right? But it's interesting, if in one exam, right, you don't have this option, if you are only gave this 4 option, right? Maybe you don't know which one is right, but you know which one is wrong, right? So by exclusion, you can eliminate A, B, and the C, and there's going to be one correct answer. So usually you just pick D, right? Okay. Yeah. So that's another way to answer multiple choice questions, right? If you know right away the answer, then you pick the right answer. If you are not sure, you can use like exclusion, right? You know, oh, which one I know for sure is not right. So then you can exclude maybe 2 or, let's say you can eliminate the 2 options, and then you have 2 options left, just take a guess, right? Hopefully you have a 50% chance to get the answer correct. Speaking of this, I have a very interesting experience with marking students multiple choice questions. So this is for intermediate financial accounting. I gave students 25 multiple choice questions, okay? So I was using the Scantrons to mark, right? So I was feeding all this Scantron sheet into the machine, and at the other side, the result comes up, right? I was so shocked that one student completely missed all the correct answers. So there are 25 questions, right? Each question have 4 options. So if you randomly guess, you don't have to be accounting students. If you randomly guess, so you have 25% chance to get it right, right? Because there's 1 out of 4. And there are 25 questions. By stats, you should get 6 questions correct, right? Even you don't know anything about accounting. But this student completely missed all the correct answers. I found that's very impressive. Yeah, it's hard to do that. Okay, it's very hard to do that. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Monica. Sometimes with the online learning environment, it's really hard for you to get like feedbacks from the students, right? You are telling a joke, but you are not sure if it's funny, right? So, okay. That's the questions actually the students sent to me. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions? What time is it now? Let's see. Okay, so it's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock already. I don't have to keep you guys longer than unnecessary. Okay. If you have a question, you stay. Okay. If you don't have a question, you are dismissed. Okay. And remember, the exam will start 8 a.m. on Thursday. So try to get started as early as possible. If you run into like technical issues, right, you still have time to deal with it, right? If you have never done that monitoring software, right? So might as well start earlier. If you run into problems, there's still time to fix it, right? Yes, Monica. Yeah, you can keep a formula sheet for all the chapters. I think on the description of the midterm exam, I specifically mentioned what is the formula sheet should be look like. The sides, right? Has to be one side, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, you are dismissed if you don't have any question. And good luck with the midterm exam. If you are not sure with that, my recommend Dante, you are asking question about the monitor, right? Because the midterm exam is pretty heavy, right? The weight, it has to be monitored just to make sure students are not cheating on the exam, make sure it's fair for everyone. If you have never used it before, you are not sure, my recommendation is that you should contact the IT to do some kind of pre-test just to make sure that things are running well with your computer. Okay, so definitely contact IT. Unfortunately, I'm not an IT expert, so I'm not able to help, but we do have IT team to help you with that. Also check the resources about the response logged browser, right? Just to see some of the resources posted on our website, Blackboard. So yeah, if you have never done it, definitely be careful, right? Make sure that you cannot anticipate what you are doing. Monica, if you go to week 8, so basically this is kind of like a online asynchronous type of learning. Our learning is by week, right? If you want to know all the things you need to do, you go to the week 8 and then you read the information there. You will find all those informations. Yeah. No problem. You're welcome. Okay, so class is dismissed. Yeah, no problem. Hopefully you find this helpful. Okay, and all the best with your exam.